Hey yo, how y'all doing? Welcome in to the best ball draft. Some might say a mock draft, but we ain't mocking when we got our real money up for grabs right now. You need 3 more people in this Best Ball Mania draft. So, if any of the beautiful people right now watching want to hop up in there, get up in there right now. We are waiting for that to fill, and then we will be drafting. And I just finished loading the running back profiles. I did up to RB3s, so for 12-team standard leagues now, no longer 10s, now 12s. We got 36 running backs in there. I got all the rookie tight ends, all the rookie running backs. I'll be working on the rookie wide receivers today and tomorrow. And then it's wide receivers and stuff. But the rankings, the initial rankings are done. By the time that the draft guide releases in probably 2 weeks for 2021 NFL, we will then probably have another finalized spot of the rankings. So that's what I'll be drafting off of today. We need 2 more people to fill the Best Ball Mania contest right now. So 1 more person to fill it. All right, you guys might be quick right now. We need 1 more person to fill the Best Ball Mania. We can start drafting on this live stream, and it won't just be me. So get up in there right now. It's on Underdog Fantasy, by the way, if you're not familiar. If you don't know, now you know. Underdog Fantasy, $1,001 to first place, $3.5 million in prizes, the biggest best ball tournament ever. So be sure to get up in there. We need 1 more person. So if you're watching right now, if you're watching on YouTube, if you're watching on Twitch, unlikely on Twitch. I think there's like 30 people who ever tune in on Twitch. And then also on Twitter, you check in over there. But yeah, we'll wait for that to fill. We'll answer any questions. I just actually finished recording. I sent it to an editor to see if there's anything that he wants to add to it, a couple of little features that we'll be doing this football season. The first football video outside of these mock drafts, like the first pre-recorded football video that I'm looking forward to. It's about 2 must drafts, draft these running backs, whatever you want to clickbait motherfucking title it. That will be releasing on Monday, so right at the beginning of June. June starts, I believe, Tuesday, but Monday, Memorial Day. So let's get up in here. Let's show you what we're working with. We're working with this right now. We're working with this right now. This right here. Oh, it started. There we go. There we go. The people came through over on the Twitter streets. So now we're working to actually work. All right. Let's see where your boy landed a spot right now. Oh, I'm not seeing myself. Uh-oh. We're 12th. Not bad. I don't hate this because we're going to go back-to-back running backs and get some stud running backs. Like, I'm going to go back-to-back running backs here, and I think there's a pretty strong chance. I see some people in the YouTube chat what's going on Lynch Pim. I think there's a pretty strong chance that if we go back-to-back running backs here, that I can, like, just rip off, like, 3 receivers in a row and still get a quality running back in, like, the 6th round. I mean, you get guys like Leonard Fournette, Damian Harris falling to like the 8th round, which Damian Harris is starting to pick up some like early offseason buzz. He's picking up some early offseason buzz, and I'm not totally against it, but I'm also not fully there for it. Look, Sony Michelle, you can say what you want about him. You can say that he's not like totally elite, all this stuff, but he's a 1st-round pick. Damian Harris is a 3rd-round pick, right? Sony Michelle was very effective last year. Like people would just kind of think of Sony Michelle from like an anchoring bias of his first year and a half or 2 years in the league. Sony Michelle was very effective. It'll be a totally different offense this year, right? And just all over the place, receivers, tight ends, offensive line pieces as well, right? Obviously, quarterback has a high chance of being different. But I'm not totally buying into the fact that Damian Harris, I mean, 8th round, sure. But like when I'm looking there and I'm seeing Leonard Fournette and Damian Harris on the board together, I think they're much closer than people are painting them out to be right now. So you can see as right above me is the clock on who is going. We can see right here that we already have McCaffrey, Cook, and Barkley, and that makes a lot of sense. I have it right now, McCaffrey, Barkley, and Cook. I would not be shocked if by the end of the year I have somebody other than McCaffrey number 1 overall, if I ever was to land number 1 overall. You might be saying gasp, but again, totally different offense. Sam Darnold in there now. Different weapons at receiver, different coaching. But I do believe that McCaffrey should be number 1. Jonathan Taylor, 4th overall, and Kamara goes 5th. Kamara is going to be a sneaky guy for me. Kamara is my running back 9 right now. As Henry goes, and you can see the first 6 running backs in this, or first 6 players running backs. I'm not against Taylor at 4, although I'm much lower on him than that. But yeah, it's going to be interesting. You can get any questions if you're watching on Twitter or on YouTube. You can hop them in there if you want to have a conversation around it. But Alvin Kamara is my running back 9 right now, behind Derrick Henry, behind Aaron Jones, and that's assuming that Aaron Rodgers is going to be in. Behind a couple of other players, behind Joe Mixon. So, yeah. Look, there's a lot of question marks on Alvin Kamara, which you can say that there's some on guys around him like Mixon. I've got Chubb at 8, right? So there's question marks there. And enough question marks that make me not want to draft him over those other players. The main question mark being the most check down running back or check down quarterback in a while, and Drew Brees now gone, right? So there's questions there. That's why there's questions with Jonathan Taylor, the most check back quarterback gone. Carson Wentz, who was terrible at targeting running backs, inaccurate, and just didn't do it too often. Just ask Miles Sanders, is now there. So there's questions about these players. Too high on Taylor. I think so as well. Screen is not focused. Could be on my end. I do believe it's more than likely on your end. This is just like the fonts that they use, if you're referring to that. But everything on my end should be all good in terms of the screen. So I'm about to be on the clock. Akers goes, Tyreek and Kelsey go in the first round. I mean, I'm looking running back here, and I'm at the 12 spot, and I'm just going to land with a fantastic running back no matter what. I mean, we have Zeke, Chubb, and Aaron Jones, all of which, and Joe Mixon, all of which are top 8 overall ranked plays, top 8 running backs for me right now. Sal, I'm in here with you. Oh, no good Logan. You're in this draft. Nice. Cam Akers goes. So I have my pick right here. I'm at the 12th overall pick. I get back-to-back running backs. Who would you guys take? I have my options of Zeke, Jones, Mixon, and Harris. I'm going to go Zeke because, I mean, people are just, we can have a conversation about Zeke too, all over the place on Zeke. And I believe Aaron Jones after that. As much as I like Mixon and as much as I like Najee Harris, I mean, starting at the 12 is a fantastic spot to be, at least at this point in the season. Zeke and Aaron Jones feels really good. All smash running backs at that spot. Yeah, insane amount of value right now. Look, people want to talk down on Zeke. It's very similar how people want to talk down on some other players, i.e. a Miles Sanders. I hope Miles Sanders somehow makes it back around to my third pick. Mixon or Jones? Yeah, I went Jones. Jones is my running back 4 right now. Zeke's my running back 6. So I just got them at the 12th and 13th overall spot. I love that. I love that. More running backs are going right now. Antonio Gibson, a little bit high for me, but it's fine. Joe Mixon, great pick. Najee Harris, great pick. So Miles Sanders and Zeke have a lot in common. They lost most of their offensive line. Sanders 3 pieces, Zeke 4 pieces, right? Lost most of their offensive line. And they lost their quarterbacks for one reason or another. Dak because of injury and Carson Wentz because he stunk, and an inaccurate quarterback in Jalen Wentz filled in for him. I like Jalen Wentz for fantasy on the ground, but inaccurate quarterback, right? So they don't have stable quarterback play. They don't have offensive lines. And now all of a sudden people want to be just saying, Zeke's all washed. He's 26. Miles Sanders can't get it done. The guy in 12 games was pacing for over 1,400 yards, averaging like 88 yards per game. What more do you want this guy to do behind a terrible offensive line and no quarterback play? So Miles Sanders, insane value. A little spoiler alert for one of the running backs I'll be talking about in the Monday video that's going to be releasing. Zeke, my number 6 overall play, can only get higher in my opinion. In PPR, can go above Derrick Henry, who's 5 overall right now. On the board, you can see some guys are going right now. We're drafting on Underdog if you're not familiar. If you don't know, now you know. Get in on Underdog. Davante Adams just went at the 2-8, by the way. Back end of the second round. Fantastic spot to be getting Davante Adams, right? The 2-8, the 20th overall pick. Not bad. Appreciate all the people that are in the chat right now. Yeah, if you want to be drafting, my man, No Good Logan, actually just took Davante Adams right there. Sal Fukin Vetri, what's going on? Do you think Rodgers stays? I think so. I don't know if he'll stay after this year, but I think he stays this year. Doesn't sound great. If I'm the organization, I don't care about setting a precedent. You're probably going to fire the GM in 2 years anyways. You might as well fire him now. But I get the whole not wanting to set a bad precedent. So we are here at the end of the second round. Some guys that are still left on the board, some higher values that are still left on the board based on ADP. George Kittle, I'm not there on George Kittle personally. I don't think he sees enough targets. Calvin Ridley's still there. Swift just goes. Michael Thomas is falling way too much right now. If somehow at my third pick I can get a Michael Thomas or a Sanders or a Carson, one of those guys, I'll be feeling really good about this start. That's all me, baby, says Logan Baker. My man, Logan Baker. Yeah, nice pick with Davante Adams there. Look, do I think Rodgers stays? Nobody knows. It's not about money, clearly, but to an extent it is, right? Like, people can say it's not about money. To an extent, it's about money. To an extent, no pun intended, with the extension that he's looking for. So he wants to be respected. And being respected, part of that has to do with getting paid money. And part of that means that you're going to be getting, hopefully paid, maybe not Patrick Mahomes money, but he wants close to that. You see the Dak Prescott money, all the money that's going to be happening these next couple of years. He wants to be respected from a culture standpoint. That's what he said on the Kenny Mayne program. So, yeah. I think that Rodgers stays at least for this year, and then we go from there. But you draft a quarterback in the first round, a 50-year option comes into place after next year, after his third year. You have to start deciding about that. You haven't seen the guy even play a preseason game yet. So I think you're going to have to see Jordan Love play on some team soon. Michael Thomas goes with the 3-4. Sad day for your boy right here. We are 7 picks away, but there's still some good running backs left. But I already have 2. But I'm not above taking a third running back if Miles Sanders or Chris Carson drops me. And I get back-to-back picks, so I can go running back receiver. We'll see which receivers fall to me. Michael Thomas, Calvin Ridley going. Calvin Ridley, massive upside. Like, this pick by Blue Jays 12 if and when, I don't think Julio Jones leaves, 5-1 favorite to stay with Atlanta, but if and when Julio leaves, right? If and when Julio, or maybe I shouldn't say I don't think so. I would bet that he stays. That's just a better bet. Sanders goes, I mean, I don't know why I'm talking right now. This is a $25 buy-in with $1,001 to first. I'm saying who I like, and no good Logan probably wasn't even going to take Miles Sanders. Only takes Miles Sanders because your boy's hyping it up right now on the stream. 3 picks before me. Or actually a little bit more, 5 picks before me. Might have not fallen to me anyways, but we might have to, we got some snakes in the grass right now. We might have to chop their heads off. Did I miss why Sal loves Miles so much? Yeah, you did. It's value. I don't think Miles Sanders is a first-round pick. I don't think he's an early second-round pick. I think he's a mid to late second-round pick. Yeah, I think getting him right now in the middle of the third round is great. Stream Sniper, yeah. Logan just snaking you. You hate to see it. You hate to see it. So we're coming up pretty quickly here. There's still a couple guys on the board that I like, and I get back to that pick, so I'll have to think on that one if I want to take. Probably not going to go Mahomes here if he even makes it to me. Promise you I was picking him regardless. I'm low on Kittle. All right. But Miles Sanders, why do I like him a lot? Because he was one of the most, I would say, workhorse running backs in the NFL last year and played well. Miles Sanders, who was top 10 in yards per touch last year. Miles Sanders, who had the third most snaps in the NFL, even though snap percentage, 77%. Missed 4 games, was pacing to have close to 1,500 total yards. That's behind an offensive line that lost 3 of their 4 best players, right? They're going to get those back this year and be a borderline top 5 offensive line. That's with Carson Wentz being terrible, as bad as it gets, and not moving your offense to the red zone, right? So I'm up next. So Chris Carson goes 2 picks before me. That stinks. Allen Robinson is here, which I'm not against. Terry McLaurin is here. Julio is still here. We have to see where he lands. So I'm probably going to go wide receiver or running back here. I'm not really too high on any of these tight ends. So Allen Robinson is still there. I'm going to take Allen Robinson here. I'm not as high on DJ Moore as many people want to be, or at least perceive to be. My decision for my 4th pick is between probably McLaurin and Julio here. Montgomery is there. Other running backs not standing out as much to me. I do believe... I don't think Travis Etienne gets back around to me, but I do really like Travis Etienne. Mike Davis is there. So it'll be between... Let's go Julio here. Montgomery, load up. Yeah, no, I already got 2 running backs. I'm not too interested in Montgomery. Like, if I'm going to go running back there, I'm going to go ceiling, and it would have been Travis Etienne, who Travis Etienne is going to be a borderline top 20 running back for me when it's all said and done. Because he's fantastic. Like, if Travis Etienne, even if you think by the amount that they're going to throw this year, Travis Etienne should walk into 80 targets with the upside of like 110 targets. That alone right there makes him a borderline RB2, like a good RB2. Somebody says, who's throwing to McLaurin? Ryan Fitzpatrick. I think McLaurin's a fine pick. I'll take Julio there. Julio's got 1 to 2 good years left in him, I would say. Dobbins, question mark. I'm not high on Dobbins. I know he was insanely efficient last year, one of the biggest yards per touch, yards per carry leaders. Just not high on him as much. Gus Edwards is insanely efficient, continues in back-to-back years to see more usage in that backfield. He went from 8 touches to 9.5 touches, 9.8 actually touches last year per game. Lamar Jackson obviously still in that backfield and excelled towards the end of last season. How'd the move go, man? Not bad. There's a lot going on, but not bad. Mixon or Jones? Aaron Jones for me. Obviously, that's thinking that Rodgers does indeed stay. So, yeah. To kind of close the thought on Miles Sanders, he's going too late right now. Last year, people were taking him at the end of the first round, beginning of the second. That's a little bit too rich this year now that there's the Cam Akers and Jonathan Taylors of the world excelling up towards those ranks. Clyde Edwards-Helaire, Antonio Gibson, all those guys in that range. Najee Harris, even these guys that weren't there necessarily last year. But a second-round pick for Miles Sanders is fine for me. But the fact you get him in the third round, I mean, it's a smash button all day for me. I would have taken him in this draft if he lasted to me. My man Logan's on the clock. We're going to be real critical. Logan's in the chat right now. So Montgomery goes. Mike Davis goes. I'd rather have Mike Davis. Actually, I'd rather have Montgomery than Mike Davis right now still. Some quarterbacks are going. He takes Adam Thielen there, which with the wide receivers that are left on the board, I'm fine taking Thielen over Godwin. I don't know where his positionality was. I would have taken Etienne over Thielen. I probably would have taken Robert Woods over Thielen. But the rest of it looks okay. Thielen's kind of in the range of those other guys. Kyler goes at the 4th. That's kind of early for Kyler. I usually see Kyler go, end of the 4th, mid-5th. It's pretty similar there. What is your thoughts on Mike Davis? Yeah, Mike Davis looks really good. I'll actually pull up. So I just loaded a lot of the running back profiles. I could pull up Mike Davis's running back profile on the Big Energy Sports on the draft guide. The draft guide is available for pre-order right now. I don't know if it's linked in this description, but we can kind of talk. We can look at some of the stuff for Mike Davis. These are going to be player profiles that are in there. Mike Davis, this is Mike Davis's backfield competition. In undrafted, let me just see how far I am away from picking right now. I'm 9 picks away, so I got to start actually looking. I got 2 running backs and 2 receivers. guys are going off the board pretty quickly here. Etienne and Gaskin both go there, which kind of stinks. I'm going to need a running back here. I'm going to have to get a running back and then probably another receiver. So Dak Prescott goes. That's a good spot to be getting Dak. After my next 2 picks, we can kind of talk about Mike Davis, my man Nate, in the chat. So this is what we're looking at right now on at least ADP-wise, what's left here. Kareem Hunt for running back looks like the standout option. I just don't think he's going to make it to me. Like, this is the problem with going just a bunch of receivers in a row. You quickly lose out. I'm only going to draft 4 running backs, and I got my 2 really early studs, so I don't need to take a Kareem Hunt here. But there's not much players left on the board after that. Like, there's not much players at all at the running back position. Edmonds is fine for his role. Then there's some guys that are values like Fournette and Michael Carter and maybe Damian Harris. I'm not as high. Like Zach Moss, the more that people hype up Zach Moss, the more that I look at it and say, why? Why? Team that barely ran the ball last year, has a mobile quarterback in the red zone and in the goal line situations, and Devin Singletary was efficient last year. Moss was obviously hurt in the postseason. Singletary played fine. So I guess my question would be, why are we getting a little bit higher on Zach Moss right now? Why is the group thing coming in that Zach Moss is somehow going to take over? It's the same exact thing with Damian Harris. Damian Harris and Zach Moss, for some reason, are becoming the more popular options, probably because they are the younger options and have not had as much time to disappoint people as maybe a Devin Singletary or Sony Michelle have had. But Sony Michelle and Devin Singletary are coming off of very, very efficient seasons. The Bills will run more this year, perhaps, although they were the team that ran the most 4 wide receiver sets last year, and Josh Allen had a borderline MVP season doing that. So I don't really know how much more they're going to run this year. I don't know how much more you can project them to run. Like regression, maybe a little bit, but they're going to continue to play their offense with just 3 and 4 wide receiver sets. They have Emmanuel Sanders now, right? Gabe Davis is going to take a step forward with no John Brown. Why are you not doing DraftKings Best Ball? Because Underdog Best Ball is a million times better. Way better tournaments, way better user-friendly ability, user experience, UX design. Not even close. DraftKings, DFS-wise, quality. Sportsbook, quality. Best Ball, they threw their best ball drafts together a month before the season last year just to try and compete with Underdog. And their best ball drafts were, it's the toilet paper that your fingers rip through right away. And they still are. They're still that bad. The next pick. The tight end position, Kyle Pitts goes at the 5'8". Never in my life will I be doing that. Hawkinson goes at the 5'11". I would have considered that. So no tight ends stand out for me right now. Quarterbacks that are left right now, not really there on them. So running backs and wide receivers is where I'll look to here. Although quarterbacks, we do have like Herbert, Russell Wilson, Jalen Hurts. Maybe I take one of those here. I'm going to go running back Kareem Hunt, who is by far my best available. He's a top 25 running back for me right now. And then we'll go wide receiver. So for wide receiver, where do I want to go right now? I don't think Edmonds is still on the board. Somebody said Edmonds. Edmonds is still on the board. James Conner back there. James Conner is going to see a bulk of the carries. Ooh, we still got Deante Johnson at the beginning of the 6th on the board. We got Brandon Ayuk on the board. I got 10 seconds to choose. Deante Johnson, Brandon Ayuk, Cortland Sutton. Give me Deante Johnson, a man who, when healthy last year, was leading the league in overall targets and target share. Also, at one point, leading the league in drops. Might have actually finished with the league in drops. So we'll take some guys from the same division there. We now have 3 receivers and 3 running backs. I really like this start. Like Kareem Hunt is my 3rd running back with 2 stud receivers. Feels good. Deante Johnson. We have got Zeke, Aaron Jones, Kareem Hunt. Feel great about that. Jones and Kareem Hunt have the same bye, so we'll have to watch that for our 4th running back. And then we have Allen Robinson, Julio, and Deante Johnson. I feel really good about this start right now. Really good about this start. Let's see what else we got here. So the person who asked about Mike Davis earlier, this is Mike Davis's backfield competition. This is why you have to naturally be higher on Mike Davis. And very similar reasons to be high on Myles Gaskin. There's no backfield competition. Myles Gaskin has a little bit more because of veteran presence of Malcolm Brown. This is a part of the draft guide right now that you're seeing behind me. You can pre-order it down below. Player profiles for all of these top 36 running backs, and we'll have that for each position. Deante Johnson as a wide receiver 3 is fire. Thank you. So he has Javion Hawkins from Louisville, undrafted free agent. So that might be the best guy in this backfield, by the way, not named Mike Davis. Quadray Olsen, former 5th rounder, who has 1 touch in 2020 and 23 touches in 2019. So former 5th rounder out of Pittsburgh. He's more of a plotter. Not great. Cordell Patterson, former 1st round pick. Great. A while ago, a decade ago, right? More than that, right? This is a wide receiver converted running back that sees, 3.7 yards per carry, an average in his career of 3 yards per touch. And then Tony Brooks Jr., an undrafted free agent, 26, probably doesn't make the team, has 11 total touches for 11 yards in 2 years. That's why you like Mike Davis. Obviously, they might bring in a Le'Veon Bell. They might bring in a LaShawn McCoy. Those guys stink too, right? We saw that those guys stunk last year, right? They might bring in a Todd Gurley. I doubt they bring him back, but stinks, right? So yeah. When your best competition is a 185-pound running back out of Louisville who went undrafted, that's why you like Mike Davis. Opportunity. That is why we like Mike Davis here. Are there any good free agent running backs left? Gurley is not a good free agent running back, and my answer to that question would be no. There's Le'Veon Bell. There's Gurley. Can those guys fill in roles where they see 2 to 3 touches in a game? Sure. Are there any veteran running backs left on the market that are enough to take away 8 to 10 touches a game, enough to take away 80 to 120 attempts on the season? No. No, I do not believe so. It's all the guys that every year, one of them, LaShawn McCoy, joins the Chiefs, or who was it last year? Adrian Peterson joins the Lions, and everybody starts jumping up and down and screaming that a veteran running back has now signed somewhere, right? There is no available veteran running backs right now. It's Todd Gurley. Duke Johnson should be something, right? Depending on where he actually ends up signing. He is a free agent, I believe, still right now. But it's like Chris Thompson, LaShawn McCoy, Adrian Peterson, Rex Burkhead. Like, Duke Johnson is probably the best available, and he's not going to threaten anybody for touches. Like, best available from an actual skill standpoint, and he is not going to threaten anybody at all for touches. So let's see where guys are going right now. So Burrow goes, Claypool goes, Ayuk goes at the 7-1. Damn, getting Ayuk at the 7-1. Deante Johnson as a wide receiver 3 is fire. It really is fire. I'm not going to lie. Now I have to start looking at quarterback because we're going to be at my 7 to 8 pick, and then I don't pick again for a while. So I'm going to have to look at quarterback, maybe look at tight end, but there's enough left. Let's look at some of these picks. Javante Williams, there's upside there. The noise on Melvin Gordon, I hear some people saying, Melvin Gordon cut candidate. I guess I won't 100% rule it out, but the way that his contract is structured, the only reason that you would cut Melvin Gordon is you think that he really stinks. But I don't think Melvin Gordon really stinks, right? I don't think he's dirt terrible. I think for the price that you're paying for him, he's fine. And if you cut him, you're not losing that much of your dead cap. So it probably makes more sense to keep him on there than to not. Thoughts on Javante Williams? Yeah, I guess that's kind of getting into. So how many more picks until I pick? So Javante Williams, that's the thoughts on it, is that Melvin Gordon was not really great last year, was not efficient really at any point in his career outside of some volume, right? Even when he was with the Chargers. Early on, there was like one efficient season. That was about it. But my thoughts on Javante Williams are that he's fine. He broke a lot of tackles in college. Cool. He broke the PFF record for charted broken tackles. Cool. What else can he do for you? He's fine. He's good. Traded up in the second round for him? Probably wouldn't have done that. But he's good. They obviously like him. They traded up in the second round for him. I do think he's going to be heavily involved. I think getting him at the end of the 6th round where he was taken in this draft is a really strong spot to get him. But I see Javante Williams often go in the 5th round. I'm not there for that. I don't think Melvin Gordon gets cut. I think some people think that Melvin Gordon is a cut candidate this year. If you look at the actual contract and the structures, they would just have to say, oh, we think Melvin Gordon just stinks, so we're going to cut him. But if they don't think he stinks and they think that he could actually be somewhat productive for them, he's not really costing them that much this year. The year to cut him was last year, and that doesn't make any sense either, if there was a year to cut him. So, yeah, I think there's no chance after the trade up for a running back that Melvin Gordon is on this team next year, but this year I think he's there. Call out Logan on the DJ Shark pick. I didn't see who got picks. Let's move over there right to now. Yeah, I mean, DJ Shark, I guess right now I don't have a stance on DJ Shark. There goes Robbie Anderson. He takes Robbie Anderson. Not bad. James Robinson. So this is where all the dusty dirt running backs are going. Melvin Gordon, James Robinson. Trey Sermon, I know people like. Oh, Jeff Wilson's out for 4 to 6 months. So 1 to 2 months of the regular season. Yeah, but did you look at the depth chart? Raheem Mostert, they have Wayne Gallman there. If you don't think they're going to use Wayne Gallman, you obviously have never been in a backfield with Kyle Shanahan or played fantasy football. Wayne Gallman was actually quality last year. He was a top 20 running back 5 weeks in a row at one point. Yeah, you forget these things when Saquon was done, right? So yeah, Trey Sermon, 4th round pick, sure. Just doesn't excite me. I'd rather get Michael Carter, who I don't think is still available, but is Michael Carter still available? No. So it makes sense for whoever took him first. So I'm up next. Fortunately for me, there is a decent quarterback play left. Rodgers, Stafford, Brady, Wilson. If we're starting to think about stacks here, I really can't stack any of my guys unless I reach for Matt Ryan, which I'm not trying to. And there's obviously the Julio concerns. There's Trey Lance still there. Not trying to stack a Big Ben back or Big Ben stack. There goes Michael Carter. So he was still on the board. So we have a Russell Wilson. We have a Aaron Rodgers here. Yeah, I think I'm going to take Russell Wilson. I mean, Russell Wilson at the end of the 7th, beginning of the 11th feels like a really quality pick. I could also go double quarterback here and just be done with the position and go Russell Wilson and Aaron Rodgers, which doesn't feel terrible. Running back, I can go for my 4th running back and secure Leonard Fournette and be done with the position. Don't hate that. In the 8th rounds, wide receivers, Jerry Judy still available. Michael Gallup still available here. So yeah, I might have to pass on the quarterback there. Why no DK or Lockett? They were just never at a spot where I needed a wide receiver. So I'm going to go with I'm going to go with Jerry Judy here. Hopefully he can get some better quarterback play. Hopefully himself can get healthier. I don't think he's going to get the quarterback play necessarily this year. Cortland Sutton comes back, takes a little bit more pressure. He can maybe move into the slot a little bit more. I like Jerry Judy. Jerry Judy was running kind of not his role last year, which is just going downfield as a deep threat. What fantasy site is this? Says self213626. This is Underdog Fantasy. If you want to sign up for it, use the code SAL, the link in the description, and they'll just give you $25. They'll just give you $25 to enter into this $1 million contest. So now I have one quarterback. I've got 3 running backs and 4 receivers. Sort of a weird start for me, but I'm only going to take 4 running backs tops. Thank you for not snaking Rodgers. Yeah, I almost snagged 2 quarterbacks there, but there's too many quarterbacks left. I'd rather get some of these guys. I have to actually start building some stacks. With Russell Wilson right now, there's really no stack that I can build unless I'm going to go like Gerald Everett late, but he is somewhat independent of stacks. Most of the production does come from 2 wide receivers. There is the stack that I can go really late with Dwayne Eskridge. Fournette goes, Waddle goes, Samuel goes. So yeah, we're going to have to try and backdoor our way into a stack here just because the quarterbacks that I have, or even the running backs that I have, don't really want to stack them up too much. There's not as much correlation. But the quarterbacks that I have, I mean, I do have, and my face is blocking my team right now, I do have Allen Robinson, who I can stack with Justin Fields. I have Julio, who I can stack with Matt Ryan. Some risk there if he doesn't play. I don't want to be stacking Drew Lock and Big Ben, though, for those fellas there. So we can also build a late stack. And building a late stack, but, I mean, we got one of these guys. Cool, thanks. No problem at all. No problem at all. I mean, we got Logan in the chat, so I don't want to tell him my plans too much, but hopefully he takes a quarterback here. He said, thanks for not snaking Rodgers. If he doesn't take him here, I'm going to snag him next time. But I probably am going to start to look to take, I would say, I want to build this Justin Fields stack out. Justin Fields, Allen Robinson, and let's see if we can grab ourselves a Darnell Mooney. He goes Tyler Higbee, quality play there. So let's see what we can start to do here. Now, Justin Fields doesn't go for, I believe, a while. So Justin Fields' ADP right now is the 127.7. So yeah, that's like the 10th round he's going in, which my next 2 picks are coming up, beginning of, or end of the 9th, beginning of the 10th. So I might take him there if he falls to me there. Seems like a mistake to take Russ that early without DK or Lockett. Yeah, it probably was. But I also think that it's overblown how much you have to stack. As somebody who plays NFL DFS, has won mucho gusto with stacking. Shout out the Cowboys early season last year and on the opposite side of that stack. But I think it's a little bit overblown how much you have to stack. Like if you have 2 quarterbacks, you don't need 2 double stacks or triple stacks, right? There's been a lot of best ball tournaments I've drafted with Jalen Hurts where it's just him for mobile upside. Russell Wilson has mobile upside. It's not as present, though, as some of these other guys. But there's still the ability to stack with a Dwayne Eskridge, a Gerald Everett, right? Especially a Gerald Everett where anytime that he scores a touchdown, that's all you really need. And there's correlation there with obviously helping out Russ on that one. You do want to stack in best ball, but you don't have to stack triple stack every single one of your things. So nailing a Gerald Everett or a Dwayne Eskridge late will be the plan with that Seattle pick. Outside of the fact that I got a borderline top 5 fantasy quarterback. So a lot of wide receivers are going right now. Rodgers gets sandwiched in between, as you can see. Gallup's going. I don't really like the way that this draft is going. As great as it started out with the 2 running backs, I think I should have went running back again. I went those back-to-back wide receivers with Allen Robinson and Julio, which I don't hate, but I think I should have went running back again there. Although I don't feel too thin at running back. A lot of wide receivers are going. So this fella right here is smart. A lot of wide receivers are going right here. Look at all these wide receivers in yellow going. You know you're getting the worst wide receiver in this range if you take him there. You're probably taking him around too early even. So, like, my man, No Good Logan, I'm gonna maybe not clown you, but anytime that you continue on the train of something that's happening, you should probably pivot. Anytime there's like 3 guys from a position that go in a row, unless it's late and it's just like tight end and you need the tight end or something like that, you should probably pivot because odds are you're getting the worst player at that area. So we're coming up on another pick soon. We have 3 running backs, 1 quarterback, no tight ends, which is concerning. But, I mean, you see the tight ends left right now. All of them are starting caliber, all of them, and a good amount of them. Adam Trotman, you can get late. Gerald Everett, like I said, you can get late. Austin Hooper doesn't even get drafted sometimes, and he's fine. Russ is mobile. It's fine. Logan is a donkey, 100% known him for years. Oh, you actually do know him? Matt Stafford goes. Pittman goes. Cooks goes. All right, so we're a couple picks away now. Running back, Tony Pollard is there, and Tony Pollard goes 1 pick before me. Motherfucker. He was going to be my 4th running back, and it would have felt really good there. Ron Jones is left. I mean, these running backs just straight suck cheeks now. I'm not going with any of these running backs. Wide receivers, Javante. Here we go. We're doing it. Fuck it. We're going Darnell Mooney. And we're going Justin Fields. Oh, Trey Lance is there though, but we're gonna complete this stack. Fuck the world. Bang. Darnell Mooney and Justin Fields. So for all the people telling me you shouldn't have taken Russell Wilson, we just got the stack. The stack that I tried to get a week or two ago, and I got sniped on fucking Justin Fields 2 picks before me. So now we have the stack. We have the Bears stack that not a lot of people will be able to create. Allen Robinson, Darnell Mooney, Justin Fields. They don't have the same bye weeks, the quarterback, so we're good there. Oh, we're feeling it now. That feels nice. No tight ends yet, but more than enough time. I'll snag 1 to 2 tight ends in the next turn. I need one more running back. I mean, there's running backs late. There's guys who can catch 40 to 50 balls late. There's Tariq Cohen's late. There's Latavius Murray's hopefully late, right? Guys who have independent standout weeks on their own. But, oh, baby. Snagging that stack. And you might be saying, Sal, you reached on that stack. I don't think I did. And we're also in the 10th round right now, so, like, reaching around early on some guys is fine. But Justin Fields' ADP is 127. I took him at the 120. Darnell Mooney's ADP is 120. I took him at the 119. So I took those players at ADPs. If you want to try and convince me that they're going to be back around there in how many picks? 30 picks? 20-something picks? Yeah, if you want to convince me that they're going to be back around there in 24 picks, we're not winning that one. Somebody says hashtag Lamar can throw. Yeah, but he's just a runner for the most part. Had to get my stack in Daddy, somebody said. Daddy, yikes. Yeah, people. I see on Twitter some people like touting their or like victory lapping their Baltimore Ravens stacks. To each their own. It's just not for me. I mean, the Baltimore Ravens in the first 2 years with Lamar Jackson as a starting quarterback ranked dead last in pass attempts by a wide gap. Like the gap is the same between like 31st and like 16th, right? In number 1 in rush attempts by a wide margin. So Lamar is the runner there, but I mean, Lamar is going to continue to throw 22 times a game. There's just so much you can do with that in a best ball where you need all of like your double stacks to have guys who are having a touchdown in 80 yards, 2 guys having a touchdown in 80 yards, right? So that's like the only issue. So we're done with quarterback now. We have no tight ends. We need one more running back, and then we're just going to pound wide receiver. If we can get Dwayne Eskridge late, perfect. Get a little bit of some Seattle correlation with upside and the rookies in there as well. Going right now are some guys that I actually don't mind, like Gus Edwards. At the 10-8, this is a great pick. I don't think that it's the stack. I don't think that he's a part of the stack. I just think that happens to be on the same team. Gus Edwards is a better pick than James Conner, in my opinion. He's a better pick than Ronald Jones for that reason. He's in the most run-heavy offense. He was able to sustain 9 touches per game and 10 touches per game in the last 2 seasons with red zone work involved heavily and goal line work as well. I like the Gus Edwards pick at the end of the 11th. There's not many guys that are going to average 9 opportunities and 9 touches a game, or 10, right, last year at the 10-11 at running back, and obviously more upside if anything happens to J.K. Dobbins. So feel good about where we're at right now. Let's see what else is going. Irv Smith goes. Okay, that's one tight end. I just want to watch these tight ends to make sure a lot don't fall off the board. Robert Tonyan goes because we're a decent amount away. Logan's going to be picking soon. Danny Dimes season. Yeah, you can get some really late stacks in there with Danny Dimes. I mean, the Giants are very easy. Look, their offense is exciting for fantasy. Probably buns in the real life, though. We'll have to see how that offensive line looks. That's the end of the day. Like, Saquon has no running lanes ever. Will the offensive line finally be good? They took Andrew Thomas, right, like 4th overall last year. He was average to bad at best. So that's the issue with the Giants. They have an undersized tight end who gets injured all the time, and Evan Ingram just got picked, but I actually like him. They have so many weapons for Daniel Jones. Can they protect the guy, though, and can he stop fumbling? That's the question. Saquon Barkley, the best running back prospect maybe of all time, definitely since Adrian Peterson, maybe of all time. Darius Slayton as like your wide receiver 2A, 2B seems pretty damn good behind Kenny Golladay. Just using a gadget guy, having the liberty, having the benefit of having a gadget guy out there in the first-round pick, Kadarius Toney. Sterling Shepard, who's maybe one of the most underrated and underappreciated assets. If you put Sterling Shepard on the Green Bay Packers, he's way better than what Randall Cobb ever was, and Randall Cobb was fantastic. Like, that's how good of a skill set Sterling Shepard has, both on the outside and more so in the slot. Just never used the guy properly. So many weapons. And you can stack that team so late. Evan Ingram in the 11th. You can get Kadarius Toney in like the 15th round. Obviously, Kenny Golladay is the one piece you have to get early. Sterling Shepard you can get in like the 15th round. Darius Slayton doesn't even go drafted half the time. So you can get that team really easy. Real easy. So Gabe Davis goes. I think it's okay. So I'm in a couple of picks now. We definitely need a tight end. We're done with quarterbacks, so we don't have to worry about that. The tight ends on the board are shrinking pretty quickly, but I'm okay to go with these guys that are here. Like an Adam Trotman looks good to me. He's one pick away. He'll probably get sniped. But look at so many guys that you have at tight end. It goes so deep. Eric Ebron is going to have receptions and score touchdowns. He was a borderline top 5 tight end the second half of the season last year when healthy. I'm on the clock now. Henderson goes. So many good tight ends left. So many. Trotman is obviously somebody who you expect with no Jared Cook there now. So Trotman's for the upside. And honestly, in this range, I'm fine to take Trotman. So we'll go Trotman here. Probably my favorite tight end player. So we have 2 picks back-to-back. Should we go back-to-back tight ends? Probably not with the depth that we have there. Running back, there is Latavius Murray to finish up our running back position. That feels pretty good right now. So Latavius Murray, I draft him. He falls a couple picks. There we go. So we're done with running back. Why Latavius Murray? Because Alvin Kamara has been getting hurt at least 2 games for each of the first 3 seasons of his career. So you take Latavius Murray when there's no Mark Ingram there, like the last 2 seasons. And those weeks, he's basically an RB1, top 12 running back those 2 to 3 to 4 weeks. So I like the Murray pick because that gives us our 4th running back, and he's set. He's done. Murray has independent upside on his own. Murray's going to see 10 opportunities a game on average when Kamara's healthy, right? Murray last year when the Saints got up big in games, and it's going to happen, right? It will happen when the Saints get up big in 2 or 3 games. He sees the second half 8 to 10 touches. Curtis Samuel in every draft and Robbie Anderson in every draft. Yeah, I'm not as big on those offenses. I mean, obviously Curtis Samuel not on the team anymore. Samuel's fine, yeah. I'm just not. I would prefer Curtis Samuel at his ADP to DJ Moore for sure, though. For sure. So I'm set at quarterback. I'm set at running back. Now it's one more tight end, and we're just drafting wide receivers out the wazoo. I mean, fire up the rookie wide receivers after this, so we don't have to even touch. Tight end goes so deep, man. I mean, Jared Cook on the Chargers, right? Everett on his role in Seattle, although they use multiple guys. But I'm just so surprised that Eric Ebron and Austin Hooper, like, I might have to make a YouTube short video on this. Like, these guys are going this low. Eric Ebron and Austin Hooper go this low. They don't get drafted sometimes. Going as, like, tight end 24, 25. I mean, come on. Did Eric Ebron not produce like a borderline top 5, top 10 tight end last year? Austin Hooper, who had his appendix removed midway through the season, had appendicitis. Outside of those games, though, he was pretty quality. I know Odell's coming back. That'll change some stuff up. All right, Logan, you're on the clock. What do we got here? I'm just shocked how late that those guys are going. Deante Johnson was arguably your best pick, says Michael. Yeah, I mean, Deante Johnson in the 6th round for a guy who was just, when he wasn't dropping the ball late in the season, run short routes, can go downfield, though, just absolutely elusive. I mean, that's why Big Ben was able to succeed and hide, and the Steelers were like 10-0 at one point, 11-0, whatever it was, and he was able to hide how bad he was, even though the whole time the efficiency stats were showing he was terrible, because Juju, Claypool jump ball, but Juju, Claypool, and yes, Deante Johnson, all top 20 yards after the catch receivers last year. And Deante was the best of all those guys. I mean, Deante is just so damn elusive, man. He's so damn elusive. You can get Deante Johnson in the 6th round for a guy who, for the first half of the season when healthy, was literally like top 2, top 3 in targets in the NFL. You love to see that. You love to see it. Logan picks Kirk Cousins, that Thielen stack. Yeah. Yeah, there's not much you can say there. Not much bad things we can say. Let's look at Logan's team. Let's do the roast right now of no good Logan. I mean, we're playing for $1 million right now, so I mean, sometimes we got to put our manners out the window if we're trying to go for $1 million. I mean, this is mental games right now, Logan. We're trying to mentally break you these last couple of picks. No, we kidding. I mean, this is my team, so I don't know what's going on here. I'm not on the clock, right? No, I'm 9 picks away. I know what I need. I just need best available upside wide receivers at this point. So, Lamar and Kirk, don't hate it. Actually, really like Kirk as a second option, if you will. Kamara, Sanders, like that. Gus, that's fine. Why does it keep jumping back to my team? Boy, get out of here. Latavius, this is my team. I mean, underdog. What are we doing here with the jumping back? Adam Thielen, Shark, Robbie Anderson, Brown, fine. I mean, I like that a lot. I like this a lot. I enjoy this. I'm neutral to this. Not really for this. Not really for this. These are great. I mean, Higbee might be the best value tight end right now. Not even value, just like, value on where you're getting him draft-wise. So, not a bad draft right now. I think you need a little bit more upside late at receiver. It obviously seems like you're trying to smash that based on the way that you're drafting. But, yeah. I'm on the clock pretty fucking soon. 5 picks away. It's time to hammer time receiver. Eventually we'll get a tight end, but I don't need to do it right now. It's time to hammer time receiver. Ooh, look at all these rookies. The rookies that I'm not really – actually, I do like Rondell Moore. I haven't even drafted him yet. Maybe now's the time. But look at all these receivers that we can start to hammer time. Ooh, all the rookies, all the second-year guys. I don't want any of these motherfuckers. Damn, we got to scroll to find some good players like Jamieson Crowder that nobody wants. For whatever reason, nobody wants Jamieson Crowder. It's probably, I get back-to-back picks, so Crowder goes on average at the 14-7. Brutal. I'm taking him if he makes it to me. But Sally drafted Elijah Moore, and Jamieson Crowder is an ideal cut candidate. Jamieson Crowder is 27 years old, and on the two teams he's been on, ass teams, the Washington used to be Redskins, now football team. Oh my God, he cursed. Relax. And then the Jets. Of course, Crowder goes. All right. So, Clee John, I assume you're in this draft right now. I assume you're watching this right now because about 5 people joined from the Discord or Twitter. There's no way somebody's taken Crowder a round and a half earlier unless you're as sharp as your boy right here. Sal, please don't steal Tim Tebow from me. Chuba Hubbard goes. Crowder, big mad that Crowder just went. You're just at a dead zone here. I don't want fucking Paris Campbell off of back-to-back years of injuries. I don't want third-string Terrace Marshall, Perriman, Mims, Elijah Moore. I don't want any of these bum-bums. 2 picks away. Still going receiver. John Brown's not terrible, but I want upside here. Amon-Ra St. Brown, massively overrated, but going to have a lot of volume. Might be my pick. Let's watch Wall pick him. No, all right. So I got 2 picks here. So Amon-Ra St. Brown's not a bad idea. Dwayne Eskridge is there, but this is pretty fucking early for Dwayne Eskridge. Let's go Amon-Ra St. Brown. I'm fine with that. Usually goes in the 13th. Taking Dwayne Eskridge here in the 14th is fucking early, but I don't think he'll make it back to me. I don't really need to secure the stack that badly. Do we just go tight end? Because a lot of receivers are going now, right? A lot of receivers are going, and we might just have to pivot because I think we're reaching on these receivers if we snag them here. But the tight ends that I want is like fucking Eric Ebron, who's going to have so much time. Can get him way later. Let's go Gerald Everett. So go Gerald Everett. That kind of secures that just some sort of stack with Russell Wilson. It's right around where Gerald Everett goes. I don't want to take a wide receiver there because all the wide receivers that are on the board right now, I don't want them. And the guys that I do want, which would be Kadarius Toney, Dwayne Eskridge, Amari Rodgers, right? Deshaun Jackson, these types of guys down here, the guys that I do want, I can get in literally the 15th, 16th, 17th. So I might as well finish up tight end, get a little bit of a stack correlation there. Ebron being on the board was fucking nice. Like I do like Ebron, but we'll take Everett. They're pretty similar to me. Man, oh man, oh man. That Jamieson Crowder pick is going to piss me off, man. Crowder is just like, as everybody in the media is saying, oh, Jamieson Crowder cut candidate. Oh, they drafted his replacement, Amari Rodgers. Like as if Jamieson Crowder hasn't been one of the best slot wide receivers the last 4 to 5 years in the NFL, and he's still young. Even if they cut him, sure, it makes sense money-wise. He's going to go somewhere and be a contributor with probably a way better quarterback than Zach fucking Wilson. Are you going to make a draft Bible this year? I've never made a draft Bible in my life, but I don't even know what that means, but I like the name of it. The draft guide. The draft guide is already available for pre-orders. It's linked down below, my man David. You can pre-order it right now. There's a link to show you how to do that via Prize Picks, sponsoring it. Crowder isn't a beast. I agree. I'm working on the draft guide as we speak, actually. Today, I loaded a bunch of player profiles. The ranks are done, but it's going to release in mid-June. Mid-June, the draft guide will release, but you can pre-order it right now. Logan out here taking 5 running backs. His wide receivers are slacking. My wide receivers, I feel like, are slacking, but there's just so much depth. Actually, they're really not slacking. My wide receivers, I'm not going to lie, they ain't slacking. Like Amon-Ra St. Brown might be the number 1 wide receiver in Detroit, and that's my number 6 wide receiver. So, like Robinson, Julio, I think he stays, Deante, these are wide receiver 1s on their teams. 1A, 1B, Jerry Judy, Stack, Darnell. I feel good about that. I just feel a lot better if Crowder's name was where Amon-Ra St. Brown's is. Or actually, I'd feel a lot better because we wouldn't have Gerald Everett. That Crowder pick is really going to dictate a lot of this drafts. Obviously, so much can change when the season starts in 2.5 months. But we get Crowder there. I still take Amon-Ra St. Brown, and then I can just take Eric Ebron later. So that is a pretty big difference. We're 8 picks away now. Still a lot of good receivers left. Just the problem is a lot of them are young. But Dwayne Eskridge is still there if we're trying to full-on stack now, Seattle. Amari Rodgers I like a lot. There's just guys that you shouldn't be drafting, like Demarcus Robinson and fucking Nico Collins. I don't care what Nico Collins was. I don't care if he had no, like, it was a great narrative of Nico Collins at Michigan, right? Oh, Nico Collins, he's at Michigan. Jim Harbaugh ruins everybody. Yeah, and then when he lands in literally the worst situation, Houston, without a quarterback this year, The worst win implied total, 4.5, depending on where you look. I just don't want that guy, like at all. So, no thank you. But people can keep taking him in like the 16th round, so I can snag some better actual rookies with upside. You want to get him in Dynasty and think that Deshaun Watson somehow comes back? I don't think so, but sure. Not there, though. Somebody said fade running backs. I mean, yeah. Let's just show you the running backs that are available right now. I mean, these are our running backs. Jeffrey Wilson, who's out for a bunch of weeks. Kenny Gainwell, who is behind Boston Scott on a depth chart, 5th-round pick. Tariq Cohen, who's probably the best available guy left. James White, 3rd overall, James White had the number 1 running back target share last year, like 18%, I think. Number 1 or number 2. Crazy. McKinnon on KC can be something, but clearly behind guys. Undrafted free agent Javion Hawkins. There's just nobody left. Like, you can't talk me into any of these guys. Maybe Elijah Mitchell because there's more depth there now, but Sony Michelle is actually somebody who's a value. Like, the how much hype that there is. I'm picking soon, so I'm going to come back up. I'm literally picking in one pick. I already know kind of the guys that I'm looking at. But how much hype that there is right now on hell yeah. So Dwayne Eskridge makes it to us. Dwayne Eskridge is a part of a Seattle stack that we just closed off. We draft yet again. What do you guys think? Amari Rodgers or Deshaun Jackson here? I kind of want to say Deshaun Jackson. That Rams upside, Matt Stafford, take some shots downfield. Amari Rodgers or Deshaun Jackson. We got 10 minutes. I think I'm going to go Deshaun Jackson. I find myself taking him a lot lately. I mean, if Rodgers stays, the answer is probably Amari Rodgers, but let's go Deshaun Jackson. D-Jax, yeah, I mean, especially for the format, right? I'll take D-Jax there. So now I'm feeling better now that I landed those 2 receivers. Now it makes me feel a lot better. I mean, 2nd-round pick, Dwayne Eskridge. They only had 3 picks, so it's like they were going to take him wherever the fuck their pick was in the 2nd or 3rd, but all right, I'm feeling good now. I mean, we're just running this one out with receivers. We've got, 2 more picks left? Yeah, 2 more picks left. We'll just run this one out with receivers. We'll see who we can actually land. So as I do this, I'm actually thinking of just more and more guys that I need to add to like must draft lists. So let's come over here. So for some video topics, some must draft guys. I mean, I don't know for sure right now, but I'm going to just put Jamieson Crowder on this right now just for where he's currently going at ADP. Like that feels really good. Crowder, who was the other guy that I saw down here that I was like, does he really go this late? Yeah, it's probably just Crowder for now. There's some guys that like look good, but they're not enough that's like, whoa, they're going that fucking late. It's probably just Crowder right now. But that's 2nd-round capital on Dwayne Eskridge. No Sammy Watkins opens it up for DeMarcus a bit. Cheap exposure to Chiefs offense is kind of nice. I mean, DeMarcus is fine for like red zone body, but he's not good. He doesn't separate. He's not a jump ball receiver. He literally needs to be schemed open, and I don't think that's what they're trying to do right now in that offense. I mean, I think Powell, the rookie that they drafted, is probably a better option than DeMarcus right now. Are you going to be also play best ball on DraftKings? No, their product sucks. Number 1 wide receiver in Detroit doesn't mean much, somebody says. Yeah, I think people are underrating Jared Goff. Jared Goff was ranked 26 on the PFF quarterbacks. I think he's closer to like 22, 20, which is not a massive difference, but people are underrating Jared Goff for sure. He's competent. He's better than a bottom 5 quarterback in the NFL right now, which is where expectations are on him right now. I mean, there's as much to blame for. I would say it was clearly Jared Goff towards the final 4 games of the season, but the system is also to blame as well. You had a system that was built around Todd Gurley in a play-action passing game. You then give Jared Goff for the first 14 weeks of the season fucking Malcolm Brown and Darrell Henderson. Cam Akers was banged up for part of it, and then you're blaming him for play-action not working. Like, okay. So now you go to Detroit, and we'll see if play-action starts to happen with Jamal Williams and DeAndre Swift. I don't know, but that's where Jared Goff strived, where he can go play action and aim low instead of having to come out of bad play action that's not really fooling much people. But not only that, just not use play action as much. So final 2 picks, we're looking wide receiver. Let's see. These are the guys that are currently going. Amari Rodgers goes at the 16-12. Great pick, Warden West. Eric Ebron goes at the first pick of the 17th round. See, we could have got him so fucking late. But we're fine with that. Nico Collins goes. Jumanji, brutal pick. Just give me a $25 so I can go get a couple of Chipotle burritos. Never even had a Chipotle burrito, so I don't know what the fuck you guys saying. 2 picks left. What are we thinking? Do we really want to get rookie fever and keep going with these rookies? Like Amari Rodgers, Dwayne Eskridge, is that enough rookies? I obviously want to shoot for upside here, but do I really want to be drafting like Josh fucking Palmer? Diami Brown. I'm not really big on Diami Brown. Damn, I got car sniped, bro. I'm in last. I need a good pick. Help a brother out. What do you mean you're in last? What you talking about? Got car sniped. Warden West. Oh, Warden West, you said Amari Rodgers. Amari Rodgers was a really good pick. You're on the clock soon or something? Warden West? I think your Amari Rodgers pick was fantastic if you got car sniped. It's a really good pick. ESPN released something today saying that Dallas is great to stack for best ball. How do you feel about that? Yeah, it's fantastic. You obviously have to take Dak in like the 4th or 5th round, but it's fantastic. You can get Michael Gallup somewhat late. Obviously, Amari and CeeDee Lamb, you're going to have to pay a premium for. But that offense is going to be one of the best offenses. Their defense did not improve. They got Micah Parsons, who just does not really fill a need that they had. Their need was in the secondary. They didn't really fill that. Sure, they drafted a cornerback, but not enough to fill their whole secondary of just bums. So, yeah. I think that Dallas is fantastic. The problem is it's hard to get them. You have to spend a 4th-round pick on Amari, right? On Amari Cooper, or a 5th-round pick on CD, a 4th or a 5th-round pick, maybe if you're lucky, a 6 on Dak. So you have to get them all right there. Gallup is kind of the key to that, or a tight end, right? But it's going to be interesting to see what happens with Blake Jarwin off of an ACL. Is Dalton Schultz still going to be involved, who played well last year, not only blocking but receiving? I mean, I'm picking like 4 picks. I don't even know where the fuck I want to go with receiver. Like, Allen Robinson Allen Lazard probably going to lose his job a little bit. MVS, is he still available? He's not available even. Jam, there's nothing left down here, man. There's a couple of rookies like Josh Diami Brown still available, but how much do I really give a fuck about Diami Brown? Not much, to be honest with you. Hey, Sal, any thoughts on potential disadvantage of entering basketball tournaments in May versus August and September when there's more injury news? I mean, that's a disadvantage, but the fact that I can get Jamieson Crowder in the 15th round right now, where he's going to be going in the 12th or 11th round, or maybe even earlier in May or August. So the disadvantages are what you said exactly, the injury news. Some guys might get injured. I know that that's the risk I'm taking for the upside of what I believe is you're getting way better values. I mean, you're just getting insane. You're getting Aaron Jones. I got him at the first pick of the 2nd round. Aaron Jones is a top 5 overall player this year. And people are going to realize that in the second Rodgers signs, right? There's nobody fucking like these. Usually there's receivers down here that fall a little bit, and usually it is the Amari Rodgers. But see, just like that, ownership or ADP is getting sharper. Like Amari Rodgers used to be available in the 18th round. These guys just suck ass down here. Alrighty, here we are. We're on the board. I mean, I'm scrolling and ain't seen shit. Anthony Schwartz, nah. All right, let's go with ISM. Doesn't matter where I take them. So ISM, the wide receiver 3 for a Minnesota team. I'm just trying to get guys who are actually going to see targets. Des Fitzpatrick's not terrible, not much in Tennessee. Josh Palmer, 3rd-round pick for the Chargers. It's just all rookies down here. Let's go Sammy. Fuck it. 18th overall pick, we'll take Sammy Watkins. He's going to play. They did draft 2 wide receivers, though, right? They drafted 2 wide receivers in Baltimore. 2 good wide receivers, too. Like, really good wide receivers. Tylan Wallace might be better than Rashad Bateman. I don't think he is, but he could be. Tylan Wallace suffered an ACL, but he was having what would have been probably a 2nd-round caliber wide receiver season. So we take Sammy Watkins and ISM. I feel good about that. We'll end it with a veteran who's not really stable, but just somebody who can be at least maybe in a new offense, something in the red zone for them. And then ISM. So we get 3 rookie receivers. So we can make a side bet between us who scores more in this draft. Sounds good to me. Van Jefferson, if you have Stafford, is nice, cheap pick. Yeah, I don't have Stafford. I had Russell Wilson and the Justin Fields stack. So actually, I like this. This is for where we're at right now. Here's the thing. So the disadvantage, to kind of finalize the question that my man John asked earlier, 24892 is the build. 24892. I mean, it's 24810-2. I guess I don't know what you're saying there, my man Aiden. If you're talking about like positionality, it would be 2-4-10-2. Otherwise, 8 and 9 leave guys left over. So yeah, I went with a 2 quarterback, 4 running back, 10 wide receiver approach here, and I liked it a lot. I mean, we got our running backs early. If I can get the 12th pick in every draft, I love it. I have to adjust to see how I use my middle rounds, because we could have gotten some other running backs where we got Kareem Hunt, but we wouldn't have got his better wide receivers. So, I mean, I love my running backs. All I need is 4. Latavius Murray is my 4th guy, who I know has standalone value and, I mean, becomes a top 10 running back the second Alvin Kamara goes out for a week or 2, which is inevitable. Russell Wilson for security early on. These guys don't have buys till later. I expect Justin Fields to, I would guess he starts the season as the quarterback there, if not pretty fucking quick. So that's no concern. And then we get our stacks in. We get the Allen Robinson and Darnell Mooney. Darnell Mooney, who, by the way, Darnell Mooney was a better wide receiver than Allen Robinson for fantasy the final 7 weeks of the season last year in all categories. And that's taking into account that he was overthrown on at least 3 touchdowns or at least 3 40 to 50-yard receptions, right? Who knows if he gets in after that. So Darnell Mooney's fucking sneaky right now. So when you can get Darnell Mooney in the 10th round right now, and there goes my whole team, you can get Darnell Mooney in the 10th round right now. So the positives of drafting early. I get Deante Johnson in the 6th round. He's going to be a 5th or a 4th round pick probably come August. I get Darnell Mooney in the 10th and 11th round. Justin Fields in the 10th and 11th round. The second that Justin Fields steps on the field in the preseason and lights it up, and there's no way that he's not starting week 1, Justin Fields becomes like an 8th to 9th round pick, right? So the disadvantages are guys get hurt. All right, so some of my best ball lineups are going to have a guy that gets hurt on it. But for the upside of how much better my teams are at the end of, let's say, August, like August drafts compared to now, they both have their advantages. I would wager that I wish we can see the results from last year. They don't have the data, at least from what I heard from the winner of DraftKings, Justin Harris or whatever his name is. They don't have the results on when he drafted his team. But I would wager a good amount of money that higher placing teams were drafting in May and June. And that's also because those people that are drafting that early are more in tune with correlation, game theory, stacking, values. Mooney to the moon, to be honest. Yeah, Mooney to the moon for sure. I actually might put Mooney on this list. So I'm trying to build out for video topics. We have one of the must draft running backs for 2 running backs coming soon. I'm going to put Mooney on this list for wide receivers to at least look more into. And I got a couple of wide receivers, Crowder, Mooney, Julio, Michael Thomas, that we can talk through. Alrighty, gang. My Sammy Watkins, somebody says. Oh, no. Oh, no. Alrighty, everybody. 8 wide receivers is a must. So I have 10 wide receivers because there's 18 picks. Alrighty, gang. That's it. That is the live draft for this week's Trying to Win $1,001. And hopefully this will be the team or one of these that we draft live. I mean, I'm going to build about 100 or so best ball lineups this offseason on Underdog Fantasy. Is that right? 100 times 25, 2,500? Yeah, that makes sense. So you're going to probably invest 2,500 into trying to win this $1 million on Underdog. It's just fun. It's good content. It's an awesome platform. You want to sign up for Underdog Fantasy. You want to draft with your boy right now. Use the code SAL. Link in the description below. Limited time offer. They'll just give you $25 if it's your first time signing up. If you want to do some best ball drafts, you want to try and win the million or just do them for fun and do a smaller league for a couple of payouts, you can check it out. What do you like about Underdog? It is by far the best mobile platform of maybe any app I've ever used. Their technology, so, I mean, they sold Draft for so much fucking money to FanDuel, right? Or I guess to the owners of FanDuel, Paddy Power, whatever the fuck they're called. And then they went on after their non-compete ended after a year, and they immediately built Draft, and the mobile experience is the best mobile experience that you will have maybe on any fucking app. It blows everything in the fantasy and betting space out of the water. It's not even fucking close. Like, their mobile technicians and their engineers are fantastic. So the overall user experience is great. The fact that there's no kickers in defense is great, right? 18 is perfect. 22 would be too much for the casual. But the mobile experience blows it out of the fucking water. Oh, and also take into account that there's $1 million to first, that they have some really good liquidity right now. Yes. That's a couple of things. Underdog is the best season-long drafting app. Yeah, it's not even close. Their mobile app is... Like, the first time I used it last year, I was like, all right, let's download this. And that was last year. That's taking into account a year of updates and advancements. I was like, holy fuck. I was like shocked at how everything was so fluid, so quick. Everything you needed was right where you needed it for drafting. Because sometimes you draft, like, the NFL mobile app is so clunky. It's terrible. It crashes. No, you have to go to, like, 3 different spots just to get one thing done. I have the number 1 pick in my draft this year. Congrats, my man. I think I would rather have the number 12 pick, to be honest with you. So if you can trade with the guy who's drafting 12 overall, I'd probably trade with him. Alrighty, we're going to be live. Fun drafts out. DM me on Twitter if you're down for a side bet on who does better. Yeah, I'm down for that, Logan, for sure. Hit me up. My DMs are open. I'm gonna be live again in an hour to talk NBA 3-game slate for Friday today, and then I'm gonna chill out and drink some brewskis the rest of the day today. Watch some NBA. Thank you for tuning in. You all rock. I'll see you in the next one. We're doing these weekly in June. June, which is Sunday. No, June, which is Tuesday. June starts the NFL content, so I can't fucking wait. I already got 1 in the chamber, 2 in the chamber, maybe even 3 in the chamber of NFL videos coming. I'll see some of you in an hour for some NBA talk. Like and subscribe before you go. Sign up for Underdog Fantasy because it's the best motherfucking best ball app on the planet, and it ain't even close. Peace. We orange as fuck right now.